This is a Smash podcast with Lovage here. This is Sung speaking right now. Okay. Anyway, what do you think about people who only think you have tech skill?
Well, I think for a while it was pretty true, honestly. Like when I was playing from 2000, when I started basically until 2009 or whatever, I pretty much just had tech skill. I practiced a lot of tech skill. And I didn't even, I felt like I didn't barely use my brain until maybe 2009, 2010.
Is it just because you wanted to look flashy or just...
Yeah, pretty much. When I started out playing, my inspirations were pretty much just Silent Wolf and Eggs, and I just wanted to copy them, and I wanted to look really cool.
Alright, so what's your least and your favorite matchup?
My favorite matchup,
And why?
yeah, my favorite matchup would probably be Sheik, because Fox beats Sheik, so it's easy.
Okay.
And back in the day, most of my practice was Sheik. When I was coming up in SoCal, most of my practice was Neighborhood P, Kira. Yeah, pretty much Neighborhood P and Kira. But those were the two people that were on my level.
And your least favorite matchup?
Least favorite matchup, probably Falco, because Falco's really hard. Falco and Fox can both be really hard because there's so many different ways to play the character. So you have to, while you're playing a set versus a new Falco player or a new Fox player, you have to learn a lot and you have to adapt really well. So it's actually a cool part of the matchup that you have to be really good at adapting or else you're going to lose, but it also makes it really stressful because if you're playing against a Sheik, it's much easier. But Spacey's, there's so many different ways to play him, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, definitely. What's your favorite character to play besides Fox?
Well, my secondaries pretty much suck. I mostly just play Fox nowadays, but I like Marth a lot because he moves really cool and he has a cape. And his wave dashes look good. That's about it.
Alright, so what are your Apex predictions?
I don't know. Apex is going to be pretty interesting because pretty much every good player from around the world is going besides maybe Ice is the only notable player I'd say isn't going.
Wait, Ice isn't going? I thought you got
Did he? Oh, okay, so I guess pretty much... Yeah, Zghetto and Remen are like the only two people I could think of that aren't going that are really, really good. And maybe, I don't know, fucking Dark or something.
Why don't you know?
Yeah. Oh, he's not going? Oh, yeah, so... Well, no, Apex is going to be interesting because pretty much everyone good is going. I think the top 5 is almost a lock, which is kind of a sad part about Melee that the top 5 are so much better than everybody else. But it's most likely going to be Mango, Armada, PP are going to be 1, 2, 3. HBox and Meets King are going to be the 4th and 5th in some order. And I'm almost guaranteed, like I'd almost put my money on that, you know. It's possible that someone can knock him out, but
Lovage.
it's most likely that they'll be up there. Not me, probably.
Okay, so...
But as for like the placings, I think Mango's going to win. I think PV's going to get 2nd. I think Armada's going to get 3rd.
Yeah.
Armada's really, really good. In fact, I don't know. I honestly give him an equal chance of them all winning. Mango's the only one I'd say has a better chance. But if PP's playing really good, I think he can beat Armada. But Armada's fucking really good too, so you never know.
Of course. What's your favorite set of your own? I guess this counts for doubles too. Maybe.
That's okay. If it counts, if this question includes doubles. Back when I started teaming with Johnny. Basically, when I started teaming with Johnny, he sucked ass. Like, I didn't get him into the Smash scene at all, but like I was one of the first people to know him when he started playing Melee because he was a 64 player and we used to play 64 together. But I was there a lot of the time when he was starting Melee and I was like playing with him a lot. And then I started teaming with him back when he sucked dick. But we would beat people that were way better than us back when Johnny was really bad. Like we went to NorCal and we would beat people, really respected teams, or really respected players in teams, like Alchemist and Sheridan was our first win, I think. So my early double sets with Johnny were probably like some of my favorites. Was people walking down here? Alright, never mind.
No, they're just upstairs.
But for singles, I've had a lot of really good sets over the years that I watched a lot or that I really liked. Beating Axe the first time at Nice Shot Hugo. Nice Shot Hugo was actually one of the first tournaments where I placed top 3, like the first regional. I split with Silent Spectre for first. So I pretty much got 2nd because he beat me in winners. But I beat Axe in losers finals, which was a big time for me because Axe was really good, and I had to try my ass off to win.
Alright. It's kind of a specific question, but what are your thoughts on the Big House tournament and the thoughts of Midwest players in general?
So the Big House was a really, really fun tournament. Largely because I won, and it was the first. It was the first thing I ever won, the first regional or the first national, you know? Like, I've won locals, but never a big-ass tournament like that. It was extremely well hosted by Juggle Guy and his crew. Like, they actually did the entire tournament in one day, which is pretty insane, because there's like 115 people there or something like that. Midwest players in general are way better than I thought they'd be. I mean, everyone knows about Duck now, because of the big house. He raped everybody at the big house, and he was totally scary and one of the best Samuses. Midwest players in general, I really like their motivation because they all, like, there's so many groups of Midwest players that live 2 hours away from other Midwest players. And the fact that they drive more than 3 hours for local tournaments is a testament to how dedicated they are. Because in SoCal, people, even like, especially myself, will complain about having to drive more than an hour to get to a tournament, just a local. And we have them every weekend. But in Midwest, it's like they have one every month, and they have to drive across 2 states to get there. So I give Midwest players a lot of respect for being how good they are with how little resources they have. And they're definitely coming up too. Like, there's a lot of really good players in the Midwest nowadays. So I think they could totally be a region that's just as feared as SoCal or like Tri-State or Florida.
Cool. How'd you get from being super technical to super smart in a short period of time?
I think that's not true. I don't know. It's people. The problem with Melee is that when you observe players or you're a fan of a player, you're pretty much only exposed to their YouTube videos. So in the public eye, people are only as good as their YouTube videos are. So when people say that I was super technical, now I'm super smart too, whatever, which is kind of dumb because it was a really slow, gradual process where I got just a little bit better at the game. I still wouldn't even say that I'm smart. I'm pretty fucking dumb compared to Mango, Dr. PP, Armada, the really top tier players who actually are way better at fighting games than me. But for a long time, my tech skill carried me. Like, in SoCal, basically, when I was first going to tournaments, I just got carried by tech skill because I practiced a lot and I got pretty technical, and I was more technical than people in my area. So I wouldn't have to think to beat people. I'd mostly just try my hardest and combo really well, and I'd win. But I hit a wall and I couldn't win anymore, and then I had to learn how to adapt to people and get smarter at the game. So it actually, if people said that I got smarter, it wasn't in a short period of time. It took a long time. It took a lot of effort. It took a lot of effort outside of the game, watching videos, analyzing, thinking about the game, posting on the boards.
Yeah, well, yeah. What's the best advice as Fox versus Falco? Since you did say that was like one of your least favorite matchups, I guess.
The best advice I give for Fox vs Falco is you can't miss any combos because if I would say in the neutral game it's kind of easier to get hit as Fox than it is to get hit as Falco. And Falco's combos, I wouldn't say that they're better than Fox's in the matchup. They're a little bit easier to do. So like mid-level Falcos will combo the shit out of you, but mid-level Foxes will drop their combos. So the easiest way to get better in the matchup without actually becoming a better player is just to get better at comboing, which would make you a better player. But if you can convert your hits into more damage every time consistently, if you can make 20% combos, 35% combos, and then your 25% combos become 45% combos, you're just going to make the game way easier for yourself. And then once you get that out of the way, pretty much, once your comboing and your movement is integral to how you play the game, and you don't have to think about it and you don't have to struggle with it, then you can actually use your brain. And when you're playing a match, you can think about adapting to your opponent, picking up on bad habits, adjusting what they picked up on you. So, I mean, honestly, in any spacey matchup, the best advice is just you got to get faster and more technical, and don't drop any combos or else you're gonna get raped.
Yeah. It's like this one thing my friend used to tell me about like StarCraft players. Like they practice everything, like all their macro and stuff, so that it'd be like just a constant. So that like then they could think about the variables later. So.
Yeah, if you compared StarCraft to Melee, that would definitely be like an easy comparison because in StarCraft there's so much thinking you have to do outside of the actual execution of the game, and Melee is the exact same way, where the game itself is super technical and super challenging. And so just first of all, it's impossible to master. Like even the people at the top still have shit they could get better at. So you're always improving at that. But once you can make it much less of a factor and you struggle with it way less, then it's way easier to just play the game.
As a Falco main, what do you like? I'm curious to know, but like when we're like at neutral position, like what are you looking? Are you looking for something specific to like get in, or just like?
There's a lot of ways in Fox vs Falco to get a hit. I mean, like any sick fighting game, Melee, Third Strike, Marvel 2, any sick ass fighting game, it's a game where if you get hit, you're either gonna die or you're gonna lose half your stock. So the first hit is really, really important in any standoff. Basically, you'll see people platform camp and dash dance and wave dash out of shields and use Ledge Invincibility just to maneuver around people to get a first hit. And it's really challenging, honestly, especially with crouch canceling, shine out of shields. Fucking drills are inconsistent. There's a lot of things that make playing Falco, or just the whole matchup in general for both sides, really hard. So when you're in a neutral position, Fox vs Falco, you have to look for whatever you can get. Sometimes you have to do standard things like dash dance grab, but that's really easy to not work because of lasers and because of people overshooting their aerials, and it's really hard to get that consistently. So you have to get those things when you can get them, and you have to react to when your opponent messes up and does a bad aerial and you can grab them. But because that's not a realistic way to get a first hit most of the time, especially not versus good players, like I would say you would never see Mango get dash dance grabbed by a Fox straight up. That's really, really rare when he's playing good. Like, he would know exactly how to overshoot his aerial or how to fast fall correctly to make it impossible. So when you get to that point in the game, it becomes a lot harder to get a first hit. Same with when shield grabbing becomes inconsistent in Melee. When people get to a certain level, you don't shield grab anymore because it's almost impossible with good shield pressure. So you can't rely on shield grabbing people to start combos because you're going to get fucked up for trying to grab. So the higher you get, the less easy shit you can rely on, and the more you have to gimmick your way. The more you have to gimmick your way into getting hits. You have to do weird crouch cancels into shines. You have to do weird ass full jumps. You have to do wavelands off platforms to get drills. You have to have godlike shield pressure so that you can't get punished for hitting their shields. It becomes the neutral game of Fox vs Falco gets really, really hard when both people are really competent and both people don't fuck up their combos. It also makes it more important because if people aren't fucking up their combos, each hit means so much more in the game. But I would say that the one thing I would look for in Fox vs Falco that I would just keep in my mind all the time, the easiest habit to punish them for that people still do is bad lasers. And that's whenever you're in a neutral position versus Falco, you want to adjust your distance to them so that they feel pressured to make a laser, but if they do, you can full hop near them. So that's like the one thing I look out for, but it's pretty hard to do, and it's also hard to do and not get crouch cancel shined out of it. So, but it's still a good thing to look out for. If you can put people in a position to make a bad laser, you can easily full hop near them, and if you get a shine, it means you get a knockdown, and if you get a knockdown, you can get a tech chase grab, and if you get a tech chase grab, you can combo like 50% and hopefully kill them. So that's how that matchup works.
Alright, cool. So, what do you feel it is that's keeping you from being one of the absolute top players? Before you used to say like that they're just like really smart, and you're like, is it just like watching a lot of videos and like analyzing your game more, or is it like?
That would help. Yeah, I feel like I'm really far from the top 5. If the top 5 is Armada, PP, Mango, HBox, Meets King, that's the top 5. I feel like I'm really far from that. I mean, I beat HBox at Genesis 2 pools, but that was just pools, and I feel like I could beat Meets King if I was playing my absolute best and he was playing kind of shitty. So it's nothing to brag about. But the top 5 players right now, they have a lot of things in common. A, they're the most technically proficient in the game. Like, people say me and Salmo for the most technical, and that's kind of bullshit because we can make the coolest tech skill videos, but Armada is probably 8 times as technical as me and Salmo combined. If you watch his videos with Peach, he pretty much never messes up. He is extremely consistent with all his combos. He knows how to. His movement is flawless and effortless. And on top of that, he's a really brilliant player. He's an innovator. PP, you could say the same thing. The only thing people would say about PP is that he's more formulaic. But when you play him, you realize he's actually kind of a genius with Falco, and he's doing shit more efficiently than anyone's ever done before. His crouch cancels are harder than everybody else's. His combos do more damage than everybody else's, besides maybe Mango.